Hello, and thank you for joining me on this topic of biblical leadership. I thought it would be appropriate to talk about leadership according to the Bible and how our witness as Christians can call other people to start their faith journey. So, first things first, I want to ask you this question. What is the DNA of your walk with faith? What are some of the structures that make up your faith? Do you go to church or do you primarily walk with God personally and kind of just do your own thing? How much of your time is spent in community, actually being around other Christians? Being a part of a very individualistic culture, actually the most individualistic culture, according to the Hofstede Index, means that we understand Christianity as our relationship with God, a very personal relationship with God. So when I ask you what is the DNA of your faith, if it doesn't involve community, then I think that there may be some current cultural practices and norms that are interfering with your walk with God, um, in the way that God has actually not wanted you to participate in. I hope that makes sense. But pretty much what I'm trying to say is uh, the Bible has more of a community-oriented cultural expectation. God actually will judge nations for their actions. And so thinking more broadly of the church, as a representation of God's established presence on earth, rather than just the individuals that make it up, which is very important. The individuals that make up the church are like the cells in the body of Christ, and the body of Christ being the church. So we are a part of the DNA of the church. This is using metaphors from the New Testament specifically. We are um, cells and we are limbs or we are organs operating together to make up the community of the church. And I would like to invite you into considering the mystery of your walk with Christ, to understand that when you join the church, if maybe if you're someone that still hasn't actually entered into church community on a regular basis, just know that we all do struggle in our walk with Christ. You may think of like perfect people, right? They like go to church, they have this specific image, they have everything in their life figured out, right? That's a stereotype. Church is a place for us to grow together and to be sharpened. Iron sharpens iron. And it's also a place that we can ground ourselves in a righteous community, prefer hopefully guided, by the word, because when we have a biblically based church, then we have God Himself leading the church. So there we go. That's another topic. It's the missiology of the church is that God Himself is active in our local communities. He is the leader of the church, and we are merely shepherds, stewards, and scholars, of the church, bringing our own individual talents and gifts to our community. So we're different in our expressions of the talents and faith, the talents of the gifts that we've been given by God. So I hope this helps, and I look forward to continuing with this discussion. Please leave some comments below about what you think maybe your talent is, or maybe what struggles that you've had in expressing your talents in the church community, and what gifts that you can bring. Maybe even tell us some volunteering experiences that you've had, or that maybe you would look forward to doing. We appreciate all of our volunteers at churches. Yeah, volunteers are the absolute lifeblood of a church community, and without volunteers, frankly, most of the missions would not be possible. So, Would love to hear more volunteer testimonies. Okay. Thanks everyone for joining me for another video, and I'll see you in the next one.